A quote from the author Peter Bregman that I really like is, "Sometimes you need to be irresponsible with your current challenges in order to make real progress on your future self. You have to let the present just sit there untended. It's not going away and it will never end. That is the nature of the present." But the thing is that your brain actually isn't wired that way. We all have an internal urgency bias. When you kick off your day, your brain will immediately redirect you towards the stuff that feels pressing, not towards the stuff that feels meaningful. That's why you kick off your day responding to Sandra's email because she sounded kind of grumpy and there were no emojis and you're just unsure of what's up, thus working on the strategic report that will create more time and money in your future. Yet, as a Harvard study found after looking through thousands of diaries of knowledge workers, of all the things that can boost emotions, motivations, and perception during a workday, the single most important is making progress on meaningful work. If you clicked on this video, you are probably the type of person to write a to-do list. You probably set some goals, you make plans, but in this video, I wanted to talk about the crucial thing that I think gets missed, that if done consistently and correctly can be life-changing, and that is prioritizing. Maybe you have seen the Eisenhower Matrix, you've been there, you've done that, you're still prioritizing Sandra's emails over your important work, or you tried prioritizing your important work, but it always means that the mundane life stuff gets swept to the side and things get overwhelming. And that is why I am making this video. Prioritizing has always been something that I have struggled with, and that's not abnormal. In David Allen's words, it seems that there is a part of our psyche that doesn't know the difference between an agreement about cleaning the garage and an agreement about buying a company. But over the years, it's something that I've also thought about a lot, and I've been able to make some changes that have helped me to prioritize better and get more of the right things done. In this video, I am going to break prioritization and all of the things that are associated with it down into 4 categories. And step 1 is creating a focus bubble with boundaries and tools. Imagine this scenario. You've sat down, you've got a program that you're creating. This is important and meaningful work. And then you get a text from your sister. So you quickly break just in case it's important. It's not, it's a photo of her baby with chocolate all over its face. You heart react, you let her know that her baby is in fact an angel and you are the luckiest aunt in the world. Then you remember that you uploaded an Instagram photo last night, so you quickly pop over to check your Instagram, see who's commented, who has liked, end up watching 5 Instagram reels, replying to 5 Instagram messages. Then finally, you step back to do the work. You're working from home, so your partner pops his head in. He's like, "Hey, this color of this shirt is really ambiguous. Would it go with the lights or would it go with the darks?" So you get up, give them way more advice than they actually asked for, then return. After a few minutes of typing, you have a really cool idea for a business that you want to make. You want to make really aesthetically pleasing cat collars that look like they could be on a Pinterest board for a reasonable price. So you do a bunch of market research. It hits 11 AM, you've got a lot of cat collar photos. A lot of people have been responded to, but you haven't made much progress on the program that you were creating. Before you even start considering how to prioritize the right stuff, you need to make sure that you've set yourself up to focus on that stuff. And you can do that by planning for common distractions and interruptions. And this is an iterative process. New distractions pop up all the time. You're going to be constantly managing these distractions. This is not one and done. If we revisit that scenario, the first thing that you could do is remove all unnecessary technology. No cute baby photo received, more stuff done. Cute baby photo must be addressed, but later, not when you're mid-work. Your phone shouldn't be visible to you. It shouldn't be within arm's reach. Ideally, it should be in a drawer or in another room. You might also want to work with distraction blockers. My favorite recently has been an app called #Blockit. This enables you to disable so many elements of YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Blockit works on Safari, so you do need to delete all of the apps, but I think that adds one more step of friction between you and social media when you are trying to focus. There are also some apps that I use on Chrome. One hides the Facebook newsfeed, one hides the suggested videos for YouTube, YouTube, as well as the comment section. And there are a variety of blocking apps that increase in intensity levels around. And then there was your partner popping in about the washing, and that is where boundaries come in. And boundaries are wildly undervalued in the work environment and in the home environment and in the life environment. Boundaries apply everywhere. This is not just a working from home scenario. And often the thing that we don't do with boundaries that I think is really important is express them in a win-win way, because often boundaries are win-win. Instead of stop interrupting me while I work, you could say, hey, work's stressing me out. I'm sick of working overtime. I feel like I'm not present at home. Can I have a window of no distractions? That way I'm more present and available when we're spending time together. Instead of, hey, I really need my colleagues to stop interrupting me, you could say, I really want to get the client work done on time and I want to make sure all of our clients are really happy, but I'm really struggling because there are so many distractions in the work environment. Can I work a little bit earlier and end a bit later? That way you're there in the morning when no one is there. Or can I maybe work in a meeting room for 2 hours of a morning so that I get a time of no distraction? Boundaries are important at work, at home, with your friends, literally in every way. And they are very important if you are wanting to create focus and you want to be able to prioritize the most important stuff. Then revisiting that scenario, there was an idea for a cool business. In that situation, you need to have some kind of distraction book, or you need to be able to write that idea down and put it in your physical inbox, knowing that you will revisit it. Those ideas are important, but they shouldn't be things that you do mid other work. If you want to take action on this, start by replaying the last week like it was a movie. Picture, similar to the scenario that I described to you, picture your week like that. What were the distractions that came up? If you can't think back to a whole week, try to think back to the last day or two and think of your most common distractions and interruptions. What boundaries do you need to set? What changes to your environment do you need to make so that you can have more focused time to work on your priorities? Once again, this is not a one and done job. This is managing yourself. This is managing distractions, and distractions will always be. You'll find that you will delete Twitter and then all of a sudden get obsessed with TikTok. You'll delete TikTok and then become a person who binges on YouTube. You'll express your boundaries to your colleagues once, but in a few months, they will forget about it and you'll need to re-express them. Because you are a human being, managing your distractions is an ongoing process. Step 2 is to find your magic time. I recently read the book The Perfect Week Formula by Craig Ballantyne, and he talked about the concept of deep work, which is of course popularized by Cal Newport. And he mentioned how deep work is really, really valuable, but wow, it's a lot more valuable when you're doing it at the right time for your body. Deep work during your magic time is where things really start to happen. Your magic time is this time of day where you have more focus, you have more energy, you have more motivation than you do at any other time of day. For me, that is the morning time, pretty much first thing when I wake up. For you, that could be right after everyone goes to sleep. When you're time blocking your day, focus on putting the most important stuff in your magic time. When you are eating the frog, focus on eating the frog during your magic time. One way to make sure that you are using your magic time effectively is to schedule in your magic time. I do this using the Life Map Collective Daily Planner, a planner that levels up your life, helps you to map out a life that you enjoy. This is a planner that I created based on all of the knowledge that I have around time management, goal setting, which is a lot. I'll have that link down in the description below. As Stephen Covey said in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. When I prioritize my day, I ask myself the question, if I could only do one thing today, what would it be? Then I schedule that one thing into my magic time. To make sure that always working on my most important thing doesn't leave me behind on everything else, I also do like to schedule in time to do my admin, to do the more mundane life stuff that is required. Because as wonderful as it is to make progress on your most important goals, if you start to fully forget about all of the other life stuff, you will end up overwhelmed. If you don't want to time block your day, if that feels restrictive, don't. Just time block your magic time. Decide ahead of time what you will use that extra energy, focus, and motivation to get done. The next step is to decide what is important. This is where we get to actually prioritizing, because if you want to do meaningful work, firstly, you need to decide what is meaningful. There are 2 things that you can do to help you to prioritize. And the first is to break your task down by context. Buying more dry food for your cat when you run out is urgent, but it's not urgent when you've just started working. Getting your book written is important, but not when you're out buying a new external hard drive. Context can be based on where you are, so you could have an out and about context, and that is when you would prioritize getting cat food mood. They can also be based on the tools that you have available. So you could have a phone context when you have your phone available, which is kind of all the time now. They could be based on the hat that you're wearing. So maybe you have a CEO hat, maybe you have a content creation hat. And they can also be based on your energy. So low energy, high energy tasks. By giving all of your tasks context in your master to-do list or whatever it is that you use, you get to filter your tasks based on what matters right now in your current circumstances. Then there is actual prioritization. One way to prioritize is using the Eisenhower matrix but with a twist, by adding in a category for time multipliers. If you're watching a video like this and you've reached this far, I'm going to assume that you know what the Eisenhower matrix is. It's the most popular way to prioritize your tasks that exists. It gives you a 4-box matrix where you can rank things from important and urgent to not important and not urgent. So creating a new program for your business, it's something that it's not urgent. You're the only one that's relying on you to get this done. The whole rest of the world won't really know if you don't get it done. But it is really important because it could have a huge impact on your business. Getting back to Sandra's email isn't important, but it is urgent because it feels like a pressing thing that you have to do. In addition to those 4 quadrants, you can add a time multiplier quadrant. This is the stuff that frees up more hours of your time. For example, setting up accounting in your business would save you a whole week at the end of the financial year where you go through all of your invoices. And by prioritizing the things that create more time in the future, it allows you to free up your time to work on those most important things. Another way to help you to prioritize is to actually assign a dollar value against every single task that you have written down. This is also helpful if you're a business owner and you're thinking about maybe one day outsourcing, or you just want to delegate more at your place of work. Decide what tasks are $10 an hour tasks and what tasks are $200 to $500 an hour tasks, and work on the higher value tasks first. Another way you could prioritize is by effort and by impact. Tasks that are high impact and high effort, like writing a chapter of your book, those tasks get ticked off first. Tasks that are low impact and high effort, like writing that report that you don't think anyone is really going to read, are things that you try to delegate or to get rid of completely. It doesn't really matter what matrix you choose to prioritize your tasks. What matters is that you know what tasks are actually going to be meaningful and moving you forward and what tasks aren't. Start with Eisenhower, and then if you find that's not in-depth enough for you, add some context, add some hats. And if you're like, no, that's too complex, go with an ABC system. Experiment with different structures. While there are global rules that you can apply to productivity, often there are also rules where you just need to personalize it to what works for your mind. And when you have your priorities set, you can use that information to inform what you do in your magic time. If you like videos like this about productivity, about time, energy, self-management, I have a lot of them. I am going to have a playlist on the screen that is all about managing your time, getting more of the right things done. If you click on that, you'll have all of my best videos related to that topic. I'll also have that link down below in case you miss it. I appreciate you guys so very much, and I will see you soon.